Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And I've got a problem.
Okay.
I gotta plug in 2 things in the garage, but I've only got 1 circuit.
All right, well, I think I have a solution for you next on Now Let's Review.
All right, so here's my problem, Jess. We got a 1450 NEMA outlet in the shop. We use it for all sorts of tools, but we also plug our charger into that. And so I have to constantly remember to run out there and plug in the charger or unplug it or plug in my HVAC system.
Right, like we get done welding or cutting a whole bunch of stuff on the table saw, and then we're so tired, we go inside, and then in the morning, your car isn't charged because we had unplugged it.
It's on the same circuit.
Yeah. Well, I have a solution for you. This is a splitter from Lectron. So this is a NEMA 1450 splitter. It does some pretty nifty things.
Okay, what does it do?
So first of all, this is not just having 2 outlets that plug into 1 outlet. Your 3rd grade fire marshal experience tells you, no, don't do that. That's an octopus cable. Right. It's just not what this does. This actually has some smarts in it.
Okay.
So let me just talk you through how it works.
Okay.
So you got your primary outlet
okay.
and your secondary outlet.
What does that mean?
So what this is going to do is it's going to switch which outlet gets power depending on one very simple thing.
Okay, what's the one simple thing?
Is the thing plugged in to the primary circuit drawing any power?
Okay, so let me just, my simple brain here. So let's say I plugged in a dryer into my primary and my EV into the secondary.
So now I can plug in my EV and it's charging. Then I go out to the garage and I want to do a load of laundry. Okay. Normally you'd have had to unplug the EV, plug in the dryer. Instead, I can just boop, 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 bing, and it'll start running the dryer. It'll immediately stop charging my EV and start doing the dryer. When the dryer goes bing and it's done, my EV starts charging again.
That's exactly what I want.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about another use case. Let's say that you have 2 EVs. Okay. You only have 1 circuit, so you either have to, in the middle of the night, remember, set an alarm, wake up early, and go unplug one car and plug in the other one, or you have 2 chargers, each plugged into one of these, and 1 car is going to be the primary, or 1 charger is going to be the primary, and the other one's going to be the secondary.
Oh, so I could set up like, let's say I have to get to work at 7 in the morning and I'm the primary, and then someone else doesn't need the car as much, they could be the secondary. And like, if I pull into that slot, I get the first bit of juice.
So let's talk about it. So the primary car will charge up until it's full, or till whatever charge limit you set.
Gotcha.
Then once it's done charging, the second car will start charging as well.
Brilliant. So like at 3 in the morning, it'll just do the switch automatically.
Exactly.
And again, this is drawing from 1 circuit, so it's not like it's pulling twice the load, it's just sharing the load. This car gets it for a while, that car gets it for a while.
Right, so this plugs into, well, I'll plug it into itself just to show you. It normally wouldn't do this. It wouldn't work actually if you did this. This is a NEMA 1450 plug. It's a very common kind of dryer outlet that you're gonna find in many homes because that's where you're gonna put the dryers in the garage.
Now, when you're going onto Lectron's website, if you wanna buy this, there's 2 different versions. This is the 1450 NEMA, but there's also the 1030, so make sure you get your plug right depending on what you've got at home.
And that's gonna determine the amperage and stuff like that. Right. You don't have to worry about amperage or anything with this. So as long as everything in your house is up to code, you plug this into a 1450, and at the max, it's gonna be able to give you 50 amps, which this is rated at.
And this is UL listed, which is great. But what is this screen for?
So this screen tells you a number of different things. It tells you the voltage, it tells you kilowatts that it's drawing through it, and it also can give you kilowatt hours. It can tell you the total amount that has gone through this unit.
I like that a lot because we've had other splitters in the past that are just kind of, you don't know what's going on. This way you get to see it. But I do have a question. How long does it take before it knows that it has to do what it has to do?
So the way that this works is if the primary outlet drops below 0.5 amp for more than 3 seconds, it will switch power over to the secondary.
Gotcha.
So let's say, for example, that we had our car plugged into the secondary and we had our table saw plugged into the primary. So we start up the table saw and it'll turn off the car charging, and we do some cuts and then we turn off the table saw, it'll stop drawing any power, and in 3 seconds, it'll switch back over to the secondary.
Oh, that's nice and fast.
That's awesome. Very fast.
Because I've seen some where it seems to take forever and then you think something's broken and then it's not.
Then you start unplugging things and you may as well have just unplug things.
Well, what are these lights though?
So these rings will actually tell you what's going on.
Oh, really?
Really nice. So it'll show you when something is fully charged, meaning your car, it'll be a green. When it's charging, it'll be flashing green, and when it's ready to charge, it'll be blue.
Oh, that's really nice too.
So nice visual stuff, you know, gives you some nice lights telling you what's going on.
Okay, so two big questions then. Price and how easy is this to install?
So when we're talking about installation, this is an indoor unit only.
Okay.
You should not have this mounted outdoors. It is not waterproof.
Okay.
So just keep that in mind.
Goes in the garage pretty much.
Goes in the garage, and I think that most garages, this will fit. The installation is actually pretty easy. They give you a mounting bracket along with all the hardware. They give you some drywall anchors. So you basically, you mount this onto the wall, and then this slides onto it in little slots in the back.
Oh,
and then
little screws?
you put in little screws right on the side. So it's actually removable in that sense. It's, you know, you're installing it, but it's fairly easy to uninstall. And then there's no wiring to worry about. You simply plug this into the plug, and they left you with a pretty decently long
I like that.
cable. Cables are expensive. This stuff is full of copper.
Yeah.
If you know anything about copper, copper is expensive. So it's nice that they gave you a good, long, big size thing, so that way if your thing's on the floor, you can get it up quite a ways.
Yeah.
And if it's too high or if it needs to move over, you've got plenty of room.
Okay, but price?
Price. So currently online, this is selling for $199.
Oh.
It's on sale up from over $200. However, for $200, what do you think? Do you think that this is a good price?
Well, considering the fact that, look, this is all about money, right? If money was no object, then you would just install a million circuits and you'd hire an electrician to basically live in your house and like all that, right? But this is all about money. So you have to ask yourself, is this the better solution? And I think for $199, in most cases, it's going to be, because otherwise you've got to bring a second circuit, which means A, your panel has to be big enough to do that. Then you've got to run a lot of big wire, probably an electrician. So we're probably talking in the $1,000 to $2,000 range to run it. So yeah, if this is roughly
Or
cost.
the free option, which is you just set an alarm on your phone to go unplug one car, plug in the other, or just every time you want to use the dryer, you just have to unplug your car and remember to plug it back in when you're done.
Right. I mean, I think a lot of people do that right now, and that's kind of the big question: is it worth the convenience for $200? And that's a question you're going to have to ask yourself. But I think that for me, now that we've been living with this for a couple of years, where we have that garage with only one circuit, and we've used to do it the old way, and it caused so many problems. That one time that you don't charge your car when you needed it for the airport the next day, you're going to wish you had done this.
Yep.
Or that time when your dryer didn't run and your clothes are all wet and stinky. Like, so I think if it fits your budget, this is probably a great solution.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us on Now Let's Review. Hey, we don't just cover this. We cover e-bikes, e-motorcycles. Heck, we even cover kitchen composters. If it's electric, if it's sustainable, it's something that we're probably going to review. We would love for you to check that all out. So be sure to hit the subscribe button, and the bell notification lets you know whenever we come up with a new video.
We'll see you guys next time on Now Let's Review.